This is Robert Smith, and I'm just sitting here on the beach enjoying the sunset, the cool waves coming in, and I thought I'd share it with you. And one of the things I want to help you understand is investments. You know, people who invest, and usually the investment and the best investment you could ever invest in is in yourself. And the investment that I'm talking about, not only financially, as far as investing in things that will grow and expand, but there's something that you can invest in that's worth millions, and no one can ever take it from you. And the investment would be in yourself. And what I mean in yourself is that means doing and cleaning and clearing whatever it is inside your mind. Because when you invest here, you're going to act better out there. Does that make sense? If you invest here, it's going to make that world outside better. You know, although I use a lot of spiritual concepts and I use a lot of different things, one of the amazing things that I discovered, and it is, it is from the Bible, and guys, it doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as it works and if it makes sense. But here's a concept. You know, one of the disciples came to Jesus and they said, "Hey, Jesus, you know who they say you are in town?" He said, "No, who do they say I am?" They said, "You're John the Baptist, Elijah, one of the John the Baptist, Elijah, or Elijah, one of those guys, you know." And he said, "Well, who do you say I am?" And Peter said, "Well, Jesus, you're the Son of the Most High God." And by the way, Jesus said we all are. And Jesus looked at Peter and he said, "Peter, upon this rock I build my church." Most people stop right there and they don't read how he builds it. And this is how he says he builds it. Whatever you bind on earth is bound in the heavens. Whatever you release on earth is released in the heavens. What does that mean? What it means is whatever you bind right here on earth, because this is where we are, is bound in the heavens. Whatever you release here is released in the heavens. Now, I want you to understand what I'm talking about. Now, he's talking about a spiritual concept, which is an emotional, energetic concept. And what he's saying, whatever you hold to be true here, you see out there. And whatever you release from here, you release from out there. One day I was at my office and I got a phone call, and it was my wife at the time. And she says, "Rachel has something important to tell us. I said, "Oh no, she's pregnant." So as I'm driving home, I'm tapping frantically, keeping my peace, creating this, working on myself. And then when I get home, we sit on the couch. My wife is next to me. Rachel's in front of us. And she said, "Daddy, I'm pregnant." I didn't blow up. I didn't go crazy. I asked a few questions. And then a few days later, I asked Rachel, I said, "Rachel, you're awful calm when you told us. Did you tap on it?" She said, "Daddy, I've been tapping on it for 2 weeks now." So that's good. So was I on the way over. Now here's something interesting. Had I not tapped on it, and I didn't address my emotions, I probably would have blew up, got angry, done something, may have had a bad negative impact on her. Now here's another amazing part. That following weekend, we all decided to go to the fair. State Fair in Oklahoma. It was around September. And here's something crazy. I saw pregnant women everywhere. They were coming out of the woodwork. Now before that, I never noticed it. Because see, inside of our mind, there's a reticular formation about the size of your little finger. It's the base of the brain. And it has a specific job, and that is to filter out information. Because our brain receives about 2 billion sensory inputs every minute. And what this part of the brain does is starts to filter out and brings into focus what you believe or you feel is important to you. Again, it's like pregnant women everywhere. If you decide you want to buy a car, or you decide you want to get a haircut, or you decide on something, next thing you know, they show up everywhere. You see it everywhere. It's bizarre. And so I believe the concept that Christ is really talking about, the kingdom, which is the kingdom. What is the kingdom, really? The kingdom of heaven is what he's always talked about. Where is the kingdom of heaven? Kingdom of heaven is where Jesus said it is. It's in our heart, which is actually our mind. Kingdom of heaven is in our heart, where no rust or moth can destroy. That's in Matthew or Luke. I'm going to say Luke for Matthew or Luke somewhere. I'll put it on the video here. So what he's saying is that what you hold to be true inside you, you see everywhere. What you bind and hold to be true, and you see it everywhere, good or bad. When you release it from inside, it's released outside. That means it's not important. It doesn't have power and control. Another scripture, I don't remember exactly where it is. I'll put it on here, where it says, give and it'll be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, flowing together, falling into your lap. Now, usually I heard this as offering the offering, but if you read it in its context, judge and you'll be judged, condemn, you'll be condemned, give and you'll be given to. So the spiritual concept again is whatever you put out comes back. It'll just fall into your lap without even you trying. Now that's just a spiritual concept, although I grabbed it from the Bible. I'm watching the waves so I don't get wet. But it's a universal truth. And so just realize, clean, clean, clean. Keep clearing, keep clearing, keep yourself at peace, release, forgive, and move on. That's very, very powerful. So even though I use these scriptures, it's universal, powerful truth. And that's what we want, is something that really, really works. And that's all I'm after, is what works. And I hope that makes sense. Whatever you bind on earth is bound everywhere. Wherever you go, heavens, it's wherever you see it. Now you have to understand too, Jesus spoke Aramaic. That was his original language. The King James was translated from basically, I believe, the French version or the Latin version of the Bible, not the original Aramaic. Most Bibles are translated from the Greek version, not the Aramaic. The Aramaic language is very dynamic. It has a lot of metaphors, and so even if you translate it perfectly the way it's written in Aramaic, you could still lose its meaning because it has a meaning behind the metaphor. Such as, somebody here in the U.S. or 100 years from now, and they read something that we said, oh, that was a hot car. Well, a hot car is a metaphor. Metaphor means it's not that it was on fire, it's just that it was cool. It looked bad. Oh, bad's a metaphor too. So you have to understand, that's how it is. But anyway, those are just my concepts, and you don't have to really, if the Bible offends you, just let it go, move on. If you like it, just grab it, use it. If you don't like what I had to say, just tap it, release it. I probably don't belong to your group anyway. Ha, I really do. No, I don't. I don't belong to anybody's group. Anyway, so you take whatever you want with this, and just keep moving on and be a good guy and love your neighbor. Be nice to everybody. If you're always judging somebody, you don't have time to love them anyway. So just love me. I need all the love I can get. So I'll talk to you later. Have a good day. This is Robert Smith. Take full control of your life. Tap until everything works out well for you. Talk to you later. Bye.